Good morning, Friendship United Methodist Church. I'd like to welcome you on this 8th day of February 2026. You know, there are all kinds of theories about how to motivate people. Los Angeles Dodger pitcher Don Sutton, several years ago, and he was a very, very, very good pitcher, but he hadn't won a game in 8 weeks. A critical member of the press, and you know you have critics everywhere you go, whether it's baseball, football, church, school, you have critics everywhere you go. But a critical member of the press was suggesting that he be dropped from the starting rotation. And the future looked bleak. Don Sutton, as you can imagine, felt terrible. And then before a game, Dodgers manager Walter Alston tapped him on the shoulder, said, "I'd like to speak with you, Don." Sutton prepared himself for the worst. Went into the office. "Don, I know how the past couple of months have been for you. Everyone's wondering whether we can make it to the playoffs. You know, there's a lot of pressure on us to do it. And I've had to make a decision." Sutton had visions of being taken off the mound. And then Alston continued, "If the Dodgers are going to win this year, they're going to do it with Don Sutton pitching. Come what may, you're staying in the starting rotation." That's all I wanted to say, Don. Sutton's losing streak lasted for 2 more weeks. But because of his manager's encouragement, he felt different about it. Something inside him was turning him around. He found himself pitching some of the baseball best of his career. And in the National League pennant drive, he won 13 games out of 14. Those words of encouragement, when he felt so hopeless, ignited a fire in Don Sutton. There are all kinds of theories about how to motivate people. We can do it through guilt, through fear, through shame. But these were not Jesus's methods. Jesus motivated through positive messages of hope and encouragement. Consider our lesson for today. Jesus says to his followers, "You are the light of the world." You are the light of the world. Now, can you imagine that? Can you imagine? Here was a motley crew of farmers and fishermen and tax collectors and housewives, and in a tiny little remote village in an obscure part of the world, and Jesus was saying to them, "You are the light of the world." Wow. You talk about a statement of faith, friends. Here we are outside of Punta Gorda. We're a no-name down here in Friendship. And Jesus and I am looking at you and saying, "You are the light of the world." And you're saying, "Oh yeah, Pastor Bob, that's easy to say. It's easy to say." Have you really looked in the mirror? Have you really got your contacts or your eyeglasses focused this morning? Look at us. Look at us. We're tired. We're old. We're run down. And you're telling us we're the light of the world? It's about what he was telling to the people there when Jesus spoke to them. That's what they felt like. And look what they accomplished. You are the light of the world. Let's dig into that a little bit. Talk about a crazy idea. Friends, with the direction of the United Methodist Church today, can we be a light to the world? Can we? Only Jesus can lead us through troubled waters, friends. Only Jesus could have seen the possibilities and the abilities of this crew that he was going to lead. You are the light of the world, he said. Now, do you want to hear something really absurd? So are we. So are we today. And we need it more than ever to reflect that light in our community and in our world. And Jesus says to us this morning that we are the light of the world, friends. We are. And I want you to think about that for a moment. Sink your teeth into it. Savor it. You and I are the light of the world. We really are. What does it mean? What does that mean to you? James? Donna? It means, first of all, that we have a responsibility for the world. And that makes sense, doesn't it? We are the light of the world. A lighthouse steers ships away from the rocks. A light bulb lights up a room so we don't stumble in the darkness. Light does not exist for its own glory, but to brighten up the world. That's the first thing Jesus is saying to us. We have a responsibility to the world. We have a responsibility to the world. Let that sink in. I was reading recently about one of the most remarkable young men who ever lived. He was a young man who had been left blind in both eyes by a childhood accident. In the 19th century France, when this young man lived, blind children had little help and little hope. But then a kind priest, Father Jacques Palais, took an interest in this lad. He was amazed at the boy's intelligence and his eagerness to learn. Wow. And with his parents' permission, Father Palais enrolled the boy in a Royal Institute of Blind Youth in Paris. You know where I'm going, don't you? Thrust into a new and frightening environment, the boy was lonely and depressed. In time, however, he found friendship and encouragement. Unfortunately, he was frustrated by the Institute's lack of books in raised print. He also found the symbols in raised print to be very confusing. So he set out at 12 years of age to convince the world that his system was better. Even with the support of the Institute's director, he was told again and again that he was too young to become a fine organist, always hoping that his method would find acceptance. And he wanted to be an organist. But there was no workable alphabet for the blind at the time. And as he grew older, he was made a teacher at the Institute, and he did become a fine organist, always hoping that his method that he had devised would find acceptance. But his health was frail, and it was not until he lay on the bed dying of tuberculosis that he heard that the first steps were being taken to popularize his system. Though he did not live to witness it, Louis Braille, his alphabet, became the universal method of reading for the blind. His courage and hunger for knowledge enabled him to triumph over his disability and disease and open new worlds to future generations. Wow. Louis Braille became a light to those whose physical eyes had failed them. How wonderful it is when a young person sets out to make the world a better place. We have some very gifted young persons today, as we did generations ago. Unfortunately, I was reading an article that persons since 2014 have lower IQs than previous generations. It seems the computer system, the screen before them, the AI is doing all the work that the mind should be doing. You know, some of you can remember when the pulpits of this nation sounded with the call for young men and women to go out as missionaries and be a light in a world of darkness. We don't sound that trumpet as we once did, do we? We don't call people to really sacrifice all they have and all they are for the good of humanity. And friends, that's sad. We are the light of the world. We have a responsibility for the world. And we have something that the world desperately needs. And that is the second thing Jesus was saying when he said, we are the light of the world. We have something the whole world cannot find anywhere else. Mother Teresa was speaking to persons who had come to meet her from all over the world. And among the groups to which she spoke was one of the religious sisters of the many North American orders. And after her talk, she was asked if there were any questions. Yes, I have one, a woman sitting near the front said. As you know, most of the orders represented here have been losing members. It seems that more and more women are leaving all the time. And yet, your order is attracting thousands upon thousands. What do you do? And without hesitating, Mother Teresa answered, I give them Jesus. Yes, I know, said the woman, but take habits, for example. Do your women object to wearing habits? And the rules of order, how do you do it? I give them Jesus, Mother Teresa responded. Yes, I know, Mother, said the woman, but can you be more specific? I give them Jesus, Mother Teresa replied. Mother, said the woman, we are all aware of your fine work. I want to know about something else. And Mother Teresa said quietly, I give them Jesus. There is nothing else. What do we have that the world can't find anywhere else? All we have is the person of Jesus Christ, friends. We're often reminded that we live in a pluralistic world, and today there are persons of many religious backgrounds who are calling the USA their home. And we can learn many things from our new neighbors. If someone should ask you, though, what is distinctive about Christianity, let me suggest that you do as Mother Teresa and give them Jesus. Certainly, all of the world's great religions have something worthwhile to offer. All of them. And you can find help in all of them. But what you can't find is the prodigal son that we read about, or the Good Samaritan, or the rich fool. There's no higher order of life than that which Jesus taught, friends. I want you to know that. Christianity as an institution might not be too appealing at times, but if you understand the life and the teachings of Jesus, he has no peer. None. Literally. We have a responsibility to the world, and we also have something the world cannot find anywhere else. And that brings us to the last thing that needs to be said. We are not the source of the light. We are but reflectors of a much greater source. There is one who has touched our lives and has given us the power and the authority to touch others. Remember that as you go forth to make disciples for Jesus Christ. Amen.